Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions. You know what time it is. It is a Monday night if you're in North America, and that means it's time for the Elite Entertainment Sportscar Series. Been looking forward to this particular round of the series for quite some time, and I'm sure that my co-commentator has as well. It is on the beautiful Princess-approved track list, but he won't be driving today. He's alongside me. I'm Reese Gardner. Daniel Zippy Salmon is alongside me in the commentary box, and well, GT3 racing at Spa, Zippy. I mean, I'm sure you want to be out on track, but you're going to have to be up. You're stuck up here with me. Yes, for sure. We are past the halfway point of the season. We began at Daytona and Long Beach, went across to Italy for Mugello, Laguna Seca and Hockenheim with the previous couple of rounds of the championship. And we're here at Spa for round 6, kicking off the second half of the season. Going to Silverstone next week, and then it's Imola, Rudskogen and Sebring to end off the season at around about the start of August. Lots of great tracks on this schedule, Zippy, and we're going to be rotating a few of ourselves in and out of the field as well. I'm wondering if you're on the cards to take over the car anywhere else as we check out the standings here. Parker Dime, obviously, on top, and has been since pretty much the start of the season. He's looked almost unstoppable.
He has been an absolute weapon, one of the WBM drivers. We build memories, and also the series sponsored by WBM. By all means, I believe I put their merchandise in the YouTube description. Check out their merch. Honestly, it's some really good quality gear. Some of the guys have already picked it up. They're absolutely loving it. But WBM sponsoring this series along with Elite Entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. But you can see there, Dylan Newhart has snuck into second there, getting there a little bit further behind Parker at this point, with Morgan Smith, WBM's founder, having a very close battle there with Calvin Gorey. Just 10 points in it, ladies and gentlemen, assuming the Zippy math is all right. Indeed, the Zippy eyesight at this point. And you see there in fifth, Jacob Quayle. I believe he may be running with WBM as well, but don't hold me to that. Austin Dilt's definitely a very potent man on track. He's currently in sixth with Carl Shelton in seventh. Drew Trader there in eighth with Brian Gleason in ninth, and Matt Murphy closing out your top 10. Let's take a quick look at the rest of the standings here, see who else we've got in the mix. You see Pit Road Productions, we've got a team in there. We're currently in some ways in 16th as well. We've not managed to get out for a couple of weeks now. Could do with getting Richard Swindell's out in the car, or indeed Rob Campbell, but certainly Rob was unavailable today. He's got to the airport, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully flying somewhere nice, or indeed picking up somebody who means a lot to him, ladies and gentlemen. But we are indeed at Spa of Frankenschamp. Certainly you wouldn't have heard me during that first part because I had a blonde moment there and forgot to unmute myself. But certainly Spa, one of my favorite tracks, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly I would love to be on track right now. My old iRacing team, Top Gun Racing, we actually managed to get a second place in the Spa 24-hour one year with just 14 seconds of repairs throughout that whole event. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But it looks like qualifying is coming very shortly to an end. We're going to try and see if we can get some of these guys. Looks like Dylan Newhart still there, out on a pace lap.
All right, whose face has he got on the car this time? It was who was it? It was LeBron James at Hockenheim last round. I'm looking. It's a bit hard to tell on the production feed from that far.
Oh, it's Toto.
Oh, it is Toto Wolff.
I think it is, isn't it? Is that Toto Wolff?
No.
No.
It's Brad Pitt. It's Brad Pitt.
Oh dear. We gave him too much credit.
Ruggedly handsome and involved in F1. It was easy to get the two confused.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose Jimmy Broadbent, he's just been involved in F1 a little bit. He got to drive the safety car, but, you know, I don't know if Ruggedly Hanson will do it, but we're going to have to send him this clip just to see if we can maybe get a couple of views as well. Shameless plug there from Jimmer. Well, trying to get a bit of Jimmer attention there, but right now we see Dylan Newhart. Actually, been helping out Pit Road Productions recently. He's been trying to get some clips together for us. We're trying to get a promotional video ready for you guys. Certainly, we've been busy, not just in the sim world, but in the real world as well. Pit Road Productions actually does sponsor a real-life racing series, ladies and gentlemen. They do indeed sponsor the track series here in Atlantic Canada. But one thing I do want to promote very quickly, and certainly this is going to be something that Reese will be familiar with as well. Let's give our friends over at Lee.
Indeed, good stuff and great to see as well. Qualifying rapidly reaching its end here as the WBM BMW will find its way across the line. And just a few more moments until the session will tick on over to the race. Spa, of course, a track that's very strong on the slipstream. You do need a car that's good in a straight line, but also one that handles high-speed corners properly. It can be very easy to go for a snap at Blanchimont, but plenty of great overtaking opportunities around this place. La Source at turn 1, obviously. You get a good run through Rouge and Radillon, and you can overtake at Lacombe, Rivage, Pouhon, Fagnier, Stavelot. Pretty much every corner here is a passing opportunity if you get it right.
It is indeed a very opportunistic track, and certainly myself, it's probably one of the reasons it's up on the Princess approved list. Pretty much near the top, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. Myself, I find that Spa, it can give and it can take away. Very certainly, you would be in the front row seat for that. Certainly, I've got to do Rob Campbell a solid here for seeing me absolutely loop a Lambo going around Blanchimont. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I did it very well. I did it, just to, add a little bit of drama to the broadcast. We'll go with that. But let's take a quick look here at the grid. You see Austin Diltz once again at the top of the food chain alongside good friend and indeed, I believe, a father of one, Mr. Parker Dime. Dylan Newhart takes third with Dustin Neerhoff in fourth. Calvin Gorey in fifth with Cameron Lackney in sixth. That's a good qualifying for him as well. Actually, quite potent for him there. Seventh has Morgan Smith with Ryan Gleason in eighth. Jacob Quayle in ninth. And then Drew Trader, the man himself, closing out your top 10.
Yes, last season's champion for the Nifty Lift Sportscar Series. Kyle Shelton is starting 11th alongside Scott Harrow, with Fozzie Fazillo and Luis Rios on row 7. Anthony Rosas and Cody Durkin 15th and 16th, with John Holloway rounding out your field of 17 cars. Well, it's a solid amount of competitors taking to the track here today at Spa, but once again, I think it's going to be a case of Parker Dime potentially finding a way into the lead here. But we got to remember that Dylan Newhart was able to pressure Parker Dime quite a bit at Laguna Seca. And were it not for the wet weather at Hockenheim, I think he might have been able to keep up with Parker there as well.
Yeah, certainly he's indeed a potent individual. We got to give him credit. Don't get me wrong, the choice of paints, and don't get me wrong, I mean, it's not exactly like professionally done, and he just slaps the face all over there, and it just gives us a giggle every time. It almost gives us like a little bit of an Easter egg to hunt for every week here, Reese. But I've got to admit, it brings a little bit of joy, and indeed he brings a little bit of pace here to the Elite Entertainment Sportscar Series. He's definitely one of the more potent drivers in the grid, consistently able to get some podiums, but not quite able to top the two WBM drivers. I do wonder, if you can't beat him, join him. Maybe he should start and get involved in that. As we see there, Austin Diltz and Parker Dime, the matching Mustangs, taken to the grid.
Yep, Austin Diltz managing to put down a great time to grab pole position there. Only taking pole by just over 1/10 of a second from Parker Dime as they roll away behind the iRacing pace car on the run up to the that's on the run up to Fagnier. Okay. Sometimes when you take the short formation lap option at Spa, it puts you on the run out of Blanchimont, but evidently they're wanting a little more time to get up to speed here, so those WBM Mustangs will be leading us away. Kalman Giori could break into the top 5 here, but he has got Dustin Neerhoof just ahead of him in the blue and red Corvette there. Driver who's only joined the series a few rounds ago and has very quickly made his mark.
Yeah, certainly Neerhoff has indeed been quite potent there. You can see him there in that red and blue Corvette, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering who it is. Kalman Gori, who Reese was just mentioning a second ago, he's there in his signature Aerokinetics paint job, the silver, well, the silver, the grey, and the yellow. But realistically, the guys to watch are going to be up front, the matching Mustangs, the American Muscle, the WBM Mean Machines, as they're getting their way, heading up into that final chicane. That pace car's going to dive in just a moment, Reese, and we're going to get ready to go racing.
Yeah, we certainly are. The first lap at Spa, always a big opportunity. Let's see who makes those crucial moves at La Source and gets the run up the hill towards Lacombe. Such an important opening sequence. Pace car in, and Austin Diltz and Parker Dime will lead us away. Diltz is already on the throttle, and Dime with the tighter exit has already fallen behind Dylan Newhart as they enter turn 1 for the first time. Kalman Giori gets up the inside of Dustin Neerhoof, but isn't able to quite complete the move on the exit. Actually, he is. He's able to find his way past, but only just. Could be side by side on the way down to Eau Rouge. It's a difficult place to go side by side in any car, let alone a GT3, but they give each other just enough room, and Neerhoof round the outside, going to cut the corner at the top of the hill, and there's a massive slipstream from the McLaren there. It looks like that's, is that Jacob Quayle or Cayman Lackney that I'm seeing with a massive run?
Yeah, these two guys would have got an absolute belter of a run, and I do suspect that there's going to be a slowdown penalty there for Neerhoof. He definitely would have got right in there, crossed over that margin, and I think it would have been enough to give him a slowdown. As you see, these drivers really already getting separated now. Parker Dime has managed to stay with that lead back. Look at Dylan Newhart applied all of the pressure there in that 911. One of the only Porsches, well, the second only Porsche on the grid. I believe Cody Durkin, I don't think he took to the grid. And there, Newhart making that Porsche as skinny as possible, as nimble as possible, trying to fight back against the number 14 Mustang of Austin Diltz.
He's ahead of Parker Dime thanks to that good getaway off the start, and well, now he's in the WBM sandwich chasing Austin Diltz. When Parker gets the speed up, you never know, he might be able to find his way through on the both of them here, but for now, Dylan Newhart is looking at a potential race lead, and if you keep running wide like that, then you might have an opportunity. Here comes Parker Dime up the inside at Stavelot, and the WBM cars run 1 and 2 once again.
But you can see the car's getting a little bit of a bounce there. It looks like a bit of follow the leader going on. Parker went off, and then Newhart went and duly followed suit, but it looks like something's happened to Drew Trader. Let's take a look, see where he's at now. He has indeed fallen back through the pack. The front nose cone of that McLaren is missing. Let's take a quick look at the replay and find out exactly what happened to last year's champion.
Yeah, so coming down into Bruxelles, keep an eye on the McLaren here. Around the outside of the Mustang. Oh, bit of contact, and he looks like he got hit from both ends there.
Yeah, it definitely looked a bit unfortunate. I think a little bit of cold tires maybe kicking in there. Scott Harrow, not really anybody can do it. Scott Harrow's going around in the final corner. We saw that out of the Almeida Racing League in the Formula 3, and indeed we're going to see it here with the Elite Entertainment Series here for the GT3s as well. But looks like Kyle Shelton is now getting into a battle with the one and only Mr. Ryan Gleason. My apologies, Fozzie Fazillo, sorry, as they're going side by side, heading down into Eau Rouge.
Oh, that's an aggressive turn in from Fazillo.
Oh.
And he gets sent straight across the runoff area there. Goodness me.
Let's keep an eye on the dash.
Is going off right now.
I got a feeling Fazillo would have picked up a slowdown for that move. We're going to keep an eye there on his dash. Are we going to see him try and bleed the speed off? He's got Kyle Shelton right behind him. Morgan Smith looking to make a recovery as well. He's down 4 positions. Something did happen. He took a bit of an off track. But are we going to see Fazillo have to serve a slowdown? I think he may have gotten away with it. Certainly right now, the long right-hander would have been the time when to serve it.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like they've all cleared their black flags there. Morgan Smith having his fair share of problems. It looks like he was actually involved in the incident that gave Drew Trader that damage. He was right behind that he was right in front of that whole pack of cars, sorry, but he just got shuffled wide, I think.
Oh.
And yeah, lots of drama throughout this field. Oh, okay. So that's what happened to Shelton a lap or so ago.
It's same lap, Reece, same lap. That's literally, he got up behind Fazillo. Yep, got up behind Fazillo, got a little bit loose, and it's fair to say Fozzy's probably going to need to change his shreddies after that, but it doesn't matter. Carl Shelton's teammate, Luis Rios, is now next to be in the pack to try and challenge, and you can see here another driver in a WBM sandwich, as he's bump drafting, ladies and gentlemen. Rios pushing the back of that McLaren, the number 61 of Fazillo being told to get a wiggle on. Morgan Smith right behind. Are we going to see the mighty Mustangs manage to make a move in the chicane? No, Morgan Smith absolutely sending it there on the inside. He's going to be on the outside for the final turn. Is it going to pay off for him on this occasion? I don't believe so.
Not the mighty Mustang, but the boisterous Bimmer, apparently, in the hands of Morgan Smith. Well, there's not going to be an opportunity here at La Source. You can outbrake here, but it's difficult to pull it up if you brake too late. I mean, that's an obvious statement, I suppose, but in any case, Morgan Smith's electing to use the slipstream down the hill here, and then up the top of the hill, past this sequence of sweepers. You'll get the full benefit of it on the way up to Lacombe, and he might get a double draft here because Rios has the draft of Fozzy Fazillo as well, but Morgan Smith isn't following them in the draft. Rios does have the slipstream over Fazillo, though, but he was looking for the inside. Not quite able to get there, though.
Yeah, certainly, I'm not quite sure why Morgan Smith ducked out of the draft there. I would have 100% stayed in. You see a very aggressive line there from Rios. Is it going to cost him there? It looks like Morgan Smith is right up on behind him. And I do have to wonder, is Morgan Smith potentially... We'll have to take a better look. Has he got any... No damage on the front of that BMW. Is he playing the long game? Is he trying to save some fuel and said, you know what, Fazillo, Rios, the 61 and the 10, they're running a similar kind of pace as myself. Is that going to be enough that I can stay behind him and maybe save some fuel?
Yeah, I think they're a few seconds behind the next pack up of Cayman Lackney and Ryan Gleason. You see him in the distance there. I think that there is potential for fuel saving to play a part here with a pit stop being required in this 45-minute race. The best that Morgan Smith can hope for is, I think, getting past those two. Maybe find his way up into P7 if he can get on an absolute tear of pace after the pit cycle is complete. But for now, he'll stick in the slipstream on the way up to Blanchimont. Side by side through this corner is often a bit difficult to pull off, but it looks like a bit of cooperation between those two. Morgan Smith back into the top 10.
Yeah, certainly he's going to be on a bit of a recovery drive. Now, is Fozzy going to fight him, or is Fozzy going to try and let him go? Certainly, these guys are indeed teammates. Morgan Smith leading WBM there, but we'll have to see. Are we going to see a different tactic? Are we going to see Morgan Smith try and push Fozzy up and down the track? You see in the background, Drew Trader still rocking with that McLaren, as it looks like Morgan Smith being given the wave around. And it looks like Luis Rios looking to try and capitalize in as well. Whoa. And he's made contact there in turn one. Fazillo did not want to let both of them go by, just the one. And are we going to see some damage now on the front of that Mustang?
That was opportunistic there from Luis Rios. See Fozzy Fazillo opening the door for Morgan Smith, and he's like, okay, I'll just go and take it. And Fazillo still having trouble up the top of Radion there, keeping it within the lines. So that's going to be another slowdown that the 61's going to have to deal with. Could bring him more in touch with Drew Trader, who's... okay, Fazillo is... actually keeping the pressure up very nicely on Luis Rios. All right. What is going on here? This is not ideal. Little bit of biff and barge between Luis Rios and Fozzy Fazillo. They seem to be exchanging some words in the in-sim text, in the in-sim voice chat as well. I can't hear what they're saying, but I think there might be no love lost between them for that dive at La Source.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the dummy has been spat. The teddies are out the pram, and it is about to get serious. It is indeed the McLaren versus the Mustang. Certainly, I can imagine Fazillo wouldn't have been too impressed with that move on the inside, but you know what? If the gap's there, I don't blame him. I would have gone for it as well, as this battle is indeed heating up, and we're only on lap 4, ladies and gentlemen. We're about 9 minutes into this 45-minute endurance race. Oh! Tail slapper!
Goodness me. Well recovered from Luis Rios. Oh my goodness. Well, the Austin Dillson Parker Dime make the Mustang look like the grippiest car on the planet, but apparently not. See, Rios had to go wide there because Fazillo showed the nose at Malmedy while serving a slowdown. And well, then he managed to stay ahead. I guess Luis Rios had the red mist descend over him for a second and decided he'd be ultra aggressive through this middle part of the lap, but he could tell that he was overworking the fronts a little bit there. And where does the wiggle actually happen? On the entry to Farnier here, I believe. Or maybe on the exit. Yeah, smooth turn in. But then tries to get on the power for a move up the inside at Stavolo, and had to get a little more steering angle on with Fazillo having a slow exit, and the bumpiness of the curb as well playing its part there.
Well, while we were watching that replay, it just looked like Rios has managed to find his way back past Fazillo. I don't think the battle is indeed over yet. It looks like they managed to get it done. Going down that start-finish straight, heading down into Eau Rouge. Now, we know these guys are not afraid. Look how close that was. Almost trading bumpers there. Incredibly close action, but again, this battle is not over yet. Fazillo is charged up. Rios is under attack this time. Who's it going to be? The battle for the final position in the top 10 is the spiciest we got on track, as there goes Fazillo trying to make a nose up on the inside.
Yeah, but late apex at Bruxelles will mean that Fozzie Fazillo is not able to get up the inside of Luis Rios there. So the Mustang will hold strong for the time being. The McLaren has good straight line speed, so should be able to stick with him nicely. See how much time they've given up to Morgan Smith already. He's practically not in the frame anymore.
Yeah, he's pretty much checked out. Let's have a quick check-in very quickly to see what's happening up further up with Calman Gorey. Looks like Jacob Quayle is indeed catching up as I say that. It's Corvette versus Corvette versus Corvette, ladies and gentlemen. Dustin Neerhoff rocking one as well. Sorry, Neerhoff, my apologies there. As the battle for P4, 5, and 6 is still very much a Chevrolet endeavor. As further up in the podium, you can see these two guys once again rocking it for WBM, ladies and gentlemen. The mighty Mustangs of Austin Dillson Parker Dime, apparently running about 1.7 seconds ahead of Dylan Newhart. As I believe we just see somebody come in the pits.
No, that's Anthony Rosas going into the runoff area to let that mid-pack go. Rosas, not the fastest of the drivers out there, but he always tries to be as courteous as he can when letting drivers by. Looks like he's just parked it in the runoff area for the moment, and will just allow the top 10, top 11 to get past him without much issue. It's not a nice experience being a lapped car at Spa, especially when you're coming down to this section here.
It certainly does indeed take some very careful, very strategic planning. As we're on board here with Fozzie Fazillo, we know that McLaren's been a little bit of a pain going through Blanchimont, sorry, Rouge and Modillon. My apologies there. Getting confused on a couple of the corners. I knew which one I went, but you can see that he is still very much in that drafting range. He's about 7 times back, and you see him slowly pull in. Rios breaking the draft a little bit there as they head down into the braking zone. And look at how much better Fazillo is on the brakes. Chains up another 0.2 of a second in one corner alone.
It's all about the exit here, though, and it seems that Luis Rios was able to line up the exit of Malmedy a little bit better. You got to treat Lacombe and Malmedy as basically one complex there for the best run on the way down to the hairpin. I love the way the corners string together here in the middle sector. This part of the circuit dating from the late 1970s when the track was shortened from its original public road monster form. It's still very much a monster of a racetrack, but I think this is one of those occasions where a shortening, a modification of a track has made it just as good, if not better. Kalman Giori, meanwhile, out of Paul Frere curve, starting to lose touch with Dustin Neerhoff, and Jacob Quayle will be rounding him up here with a little touch of the gravel on the way out of the corners.
It's certainly one of the things I do like in this battle here for P4, 5, and 6 is that they are all indeed in the same car. And we've seen so far in the past the Corvette can definitely be a little bit twitchy. A couple of the drivers actually switching out away from it. Certainly Adam Capps, I believe, switched out away from the Corvette. A couple of other drivers did as well. But then saying that, Calvin Gorey switched into the Corvette of all things. He was rocking the Acura last season, so definitely some interesting choices from some of these drivers. In AMG, we were the only people rocking it on the grid. Certainly a little bit of a surprising outcome there, but right now the blue oval of the Fords seems to be the most popular choice.
Yep, front engine rear wheel drive, American V8. It's a good combination for an American and Canadian league. Well, Jacob Quayle will pick up the slipstream again here up the top of the hill, and we'll see if there's any movement between himself and Kalman Giori here. Kalman trying to judge what line to take here. He's moving across to the middle of the road here, forcing Quayle to get squeezed a little to the inside, and, well, he's not far up enough in time for the braking zone, but Giori himself has run deep, and now Jacob Quayle has the inside. Oh, he's going to back out of it again into Malmedy.
I always feel like he's playing with his food before he eats it at this point, Reese. He's certainly, you know, he's poking it across the plate at this point, and Kalman Gorey definitely very aware of the number 9 right behind him.
Yeah, well, our parents always told us don't play with your food, and I would probably say the same thing if that's the case for Jacob Quayle. Commit, get the move done. You're clearly looking a bit faster at this point.
Yeah, definitely Quayle is very much potent indeed, as I just realized I hit the wrong mic mute button again. It's going well, ladies and gentlemen, going well. Tell I've been out of the production booth a little bit more than I need to be. As you can see right there in the background, I believe that is Ryan Gleason as well. Not really seeing him too much. Cayman Lackney as well. He's having a good race, albeit down one position. But right now, the hard charger is indeed the Mustang of Luis Rios, who has managed to pull away about a 2-second gap now from the 61 of Fozzie Fazillo.
Yep, looks like Fozzie has been unable to keep up in the short term. We'll see how he goes after the pit cycle is complete. So, yeah, Giori and Quayle plus Dilts and Dime up at the front of the field. Those are the battles within a second of each other. And I'm seeing that Scott Harrah and Kyle Shelton might be looking for a battle as well here at the back here. Harrah going a bit deep in Stavilo, and they're showing up on my timing occasionally as being within 1 second of each other. So everywhere in the field, it looks like there's someone to battle with. Shelton down 3 positions from where he started. And, oh, hello. Is that, oh, for a second, I thought Kalman Giori was taking a slowdown.
I wasn't too sure, but you see there, he's just definitely got a little bit of a poor exit out of turn 1, and this is exactly the opportunity that Quayle needs. Is he going to go for it? Certainly myself, I would hang back, try and get a little bit of a gap there. You've got to make sure you get through Eau Rouge and Rodillion as clean as possible. He's going to notice a little bit of error watch off the back of that Corvette, unsettles the car very slightly, but able to keep his foot in it, keep it planted, as he's now going to make his attack.
All right, it looks like Giori might do the same thing he did last time. There he is, moving across just a bit before the braking zone, but no opportunity for Quayle to get alongside. Giori has been running deep in a few corners over the last lap or so, and Quayle needs to take advantage of that if he wants a top 5.
Yeah, at the minute, I think he's certainly hanging back a little bit. We've got a little bit more pace potentially at Quayle. Don't get me wrong, they're pretty evenly matched on the iRacing side, but I think Gorey's just getting a little bit loose. Maybe he's overdriven the car very slightly, got a little bit too much heat in those tires. Maybe Quayle's been able to preserve them a little bit there, but it looks like Cayman Lackney, I think he may be catching up there, Reese, and he's bringing Ryan Gleason with him as well, and Morgan Smith looking to try and make a comeback as well. Currently down 2 positions from where he started.
Yeah, looking at the lap times here, they're all running faster than Kalman Giori and Jacob Quayle. Now that they're together, they might be slowing each other up a little bit too much. Cayman Lackney took a whole second out of them on the last lap. It was about 0.3 of a second taken out by Ryan Gleason, and Morgan Smith more than a second, about 1.2, 1.3. So all of these cars are converging at the moment, just in time for potentially our first pit stops. We're reaching that point of the race where drivers will be thinking about coming into pit lane.
Yeah, certainly you got to wonder as well, you know, is it, with Spa being such a draft-dependent track as well, you got to wonder, you want to try and basically follow the leader in. You want to try and save fuel behind him. Myself, honestly, I think Quayle's maybe going for the long game, Reese. I think he's going to be trying to save a little bit of fuel there behind Gorey, but give the impression that he's actually trying to fight and just kind of, you know, half chucking it. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where you don't want to give your opponent the idea of exactly what technique you're doing, because that can indeed slow you both down. We know Calvin Gory's hot on the fuel. Is exactly what he's doing, as it looks like he's going to go alongside this time with Jacob Quayle. Am I going to be getting a little bit of camera? No, nose to tail, ladies and gentlemen. Quayle is indeed up the rear bumper of the 71 Corvette.
And getting a good mouthful of diffuser there. Jacob Quayle. Yeah, delicious. A narrower exit out of La Source, straighter exit as well, giving Quayle the momentum out of the corner. Is he close enough for a move this time? He pokes the nose out halfway down the Kimmel Straight, and Cayman Lackney will have a front row seat to all of this, but Calmangiori on the racing line, where the rubber is, has a bit more grip available to him, able to keep the position coming into Lacombe.
But the whole time that's happening, Cayman Lackney has indeed got even closer. That gap was a couple of seconds before. He's now got it under a second. You see there, Gory maybe running a little bit wide there. Quayle very much got a very distracted driver ahead of him. Gory very much under attack. You can very much feel that Quayle is right behind him, and I think that the old mind punt may start to come into play.
Indeed, there could be a big going on here, and it looks like there was something similar to that happening between Kyle Shelton and Scott Hara. Shelton's gotten past Hara, and Scott's fallen behind Drew Trader as well, evidently, in that battle for 12th, 13th, and 14th. We'll check out what happened there ever so briefly. Trader still dealing with no front end on his McLaren. What happened to Scott Hara? Oh no, well, Trader had a spin on his way out of La Source, and then Shelton and Hara came through, and then at Lacombe, okay, contact between Scott Hara and Kyle Shelton. I don't think the 04 is going to be too happy with how that went down. I mean, he was coming across to sort of widen the line into Malmedy, but the Mustang had gotten alongside. I think a bit of miscommunication between those guys. Well, look here at Cayman Lackney. He is now right on the back of Jacob Quayle and Calmangiori for the last position in the top 5.
Yeah, certainly the crosshair will indeed be lit up with 2 Corvettes ahead of him in that mighty McLaren, ladies and gentlemen. I guess mighty is my word of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I must get paid by the use of it. Certainly it seems to have nothing else in the vocabulary, as right now Cayman Lackney trying to get that McLaren up and ahead. He can see position 5, he can see position 6, but can he capitalize on it? Jacob Quayle, is he saving fuel? Is he looking for a fight? We're not too sure yet, but the whole time he's been doing it, Cayman Lackney in that number 13 McLaren has indeed been closing in. As there we go, Quayle's going to go for it again on the inside.
Yeah, holding strong though around the outside is Calmangiori, and he keeps the position. They give each other room on the way into Lacombe, but they've slowed each other up a lot, and the McLaren is right on the back of them now, looking for a move. I tell you what, if I was Cayman Lackney, I wouldn't be going for big dives in this middle sector of the lap. I'd be hoping for a poor exit from Pouon, the double left-hander, to get the move here on Jacob Quayle. But it seems that Jacob is having a bit of trouble getting the momentum off the exits.
Yeah, certainly I think these guys have now, Quayle's gone from being the attack to being the defender, and certainly it may work against him in this favor right now. Morgan Smith, he's managed to catch up to Ryan Gleason as well. We're going to see a huge load of positions changing here over the next couple of laps.
We certainly are, and we've had our first pitter as well. That's Scott Hara, who evidently decided damage limitation was the name of the game after his contact with Kyle Shelton. So we'll wait and see if anyone decides to follow him into the lane on this lap. Our leaders have decided to keep it out for the time being. Jacob Quayle now looking in his rearview camera at this WBM McLaren, who smells blood in the water, and Calmangiori says run away. Here's the dive, trying to get alongside, but not quite enough. It has forced a mistake though from Jacob Quayle, and that is the psychological game being played very well there by Cayman Lackney.
Yeah, this could work out in a very, very, very interesting scenario. You do not want to go side by side through Rouge. We've seen him do it anyway, as you see another battle happening right behind him the whole time. Calvin Gory's gone, thank you very much. He's checked out. He's pulled away about 2 seconds over this battle here for P6. Right now, Morgan Smith looking to try and make a move up on Brian Gleason as well. Battles happening throughout the field, ladies and gentlemen, but at the minute, the front of the pack remains unchanged.
Yeah, Austin Diltz and Parker Dime have been flying in formation for the time being, and it looks like no change on that front, but there is going to be a change for position here. A bad run up the hill for Jacob Quayle, and Cayman Lackney is finally through into P6. Is there going to be a defense? Not quite. Looks like Jacob is... thought for a second he was going to go for the run up the inside of Malmedy, but evidently not taking it. So that's going to be the change done between the 13 and the 9. What about the 67 and the 58 here? Ryan Gleason still leading Morgan Smith. Nice and deep into Bruxelles, this descending right-hander where you're always struggling for a bit of front-end grip. Morgan Smith has been dealing with trying to get back up to speed in that BMW for a long time, but he just can't find a way past the Ferrari here in the middle.
Yeah, Gleason's doing a good job holding them off. And again, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, the paint job on that Ferrari done by his kids, and honestly quite adorable in its own right. As you can see here, he's now under pressure from the number 58 of Morgan Smith. The WBM team captain, ladies and gentlemen, the team founder, is right behind him. And certainly leading a field of drivers such as that, you've got to wonder what exactly has Morgan Smith got behind that BMW.
Yeah, what has he got indeed? Well, he's pushing hard, almost catching the gravel there on the exit of Stabilo, as Austin Diltz is our first taker from the front into pit lane, pitting from the lead of the race.
Now, this is where I'm going to see is himself and Parker, are they going to share a strategy? I imagine they've been working together, talking to each other in that WBM Discord. They'll keep working together to try and pull away from Newhart, and it's exactly what they did. About a 5-6 second gap, ladies and gentlemen. But who, look, oh, there. Oh, dear,
Giori spun. Oh dear. Kalman Giori with a bit too much curb in the first part of the chicane at the final lap, at the final corners, sorry. The anti-cut sausages there can really unsettle the car. Around went the Corvette, and well, everyone else decides, okay, thank you very much. That's Morgan Smith, who decides to dart into pit lane in response, and Giori's decided to follow him in. Luis Rios also jumping into pit lane, and Kyle Shelton, the last driver to come into the pits this time around. So a big cloud of smoke greeting him at the final corner. But, well, pit lane, a hub of activity. Looks like Drew Trader's coming as well.
Yeah, a lot of these are showing up as crash warnings for me, Reece. So we're just kind of verifying there. But fair play to Drew for getting that McLaren around there, albeit without that front bumper.
It's been a hard slog there for Drew Trader. Not much downforce on the front of that machine, which is difficult around Spa with so many fast corners. You need a car that rotates nicely. But, well, he'll get that car repaired. And thus far, fastest pit stop of the race is going to go to Kalman Giori for the time being. 14.8 seconds. I'm wondering if that might be too little fuel taken, because everyone else is fueled for about 16 to 17 seconds.
Well, I have got to wonder, certainly Kalman Giori, we noticed his lap times were a little bit slower than we'd expect. Has he been very gently, very gracefully trying to save a bit of fuel there in that Corvette? Are we going to see him indeed save time in the pit lane, but potentially, slingshot himself further up through the order purely by strategy?
Yeah, that's an option. Well,
it's
Cayman Lackney and Jacob. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Parker Dime comes into pit lane from the lead of the race, and Dylan Newhart's going to follow him in. I think we're going to see Neerhoof, Lackney, and Quayle come in as well. See, there's Neerhoof making his way in. What about Lackney and Quayle? Do they decide to come on a bit further? No, they don't. So Lackney and Quayle are the drivers that Kalman Giori and Morgan Smith are battling with, as well as Ryan Gleason here. And that's going to clear just about everybody. Still waiting on a pit stop from Fozzie Fazillo. Looks like May he be going long? I'm not sure. Dilts is going to go through on everybody here as Parker Dime comes out of the lane here, but he is going to come out just in the lead. Austin Dilts, though, has the run down the straight on the way down to Eau Rouge. Not going to get past in time, though.
I'm just picturing him just going up there, just giving him a good sniff, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds terrible, but these two guys are buddies, and look, they're already back at it. That is 100% a bit of bump drafting going on. If he gets any closer, well, they might as well be engaged.
Well, a little bit of a lift there then for Austin Dilts, and I thought for a second that he actually bumped the back of Parker Dime there. The ebb and flow between the WBM Mustangs at the front of the field. 17.1 second pit stop for Parker Dime, which has allowed him that margin into the lead. Morgan Smith, meanwhile, versus Ryan Gleason. They've been battling hard for the last few laps, and through the pit cycle, Morgan Smith, despite a slightly longer pit stop, has managed to get the move done on Gleason.
Yeah, that was definitely one that took a little bit of planning there, Reese. Certainly, he was clean, he was prepared, and it's kind of paid off for him at this point. He's managed to make his way up overall. He's gained one position, ladies and gentlemen. So he's overall a good race. Definitely would have hoped for a bit more, but fair play to him. What a good recovery so far.
Yep. Very good indeed. Morgan Smith is now one position up on where he started. Kalman Giori, though, down 4. The pit cycle has not been too kind to him. He's still staring at the back of Jacob Quayle, with Morgan Smith and Ryan Gleason getting the both of them in the pit cycle. Giori, of course, spinning at the chicane, and Jacob Quayle had an abnormally long stop, 22.3 seconds in the box.
Yeah, it definitely is a bit longer than he intended. Maybe that's exactly what cost him, because Cayman Lackney was fighting him up. The Cayman Lackney? Am I having a brain fart here, Reece? Certainly, there was himself, Calvin Gorey. Now, we know Gorey spun. Yeah, it would have been Cayman Lackney who was fighting him before. That's right, in that McLaren. And yeah, he's
just come up on
slingshot. Yeah, slingshot right past him. He's way up the road.
Yeah, certainly is. Managed to get ahead of Smith and Gleason as well. So number 13 in 5th place. And now Ryan Gleason stares at the back of the WBM BMW on the way into the chicane here. That's quite deep in the first part of the corner there. But a clean exit, crucial. You need it for the run into La Source. This has been a good race so far, and we've still got 14 minutes remaining. About 7 laps worth of racing to go, and Austin Dilts and Parker Dime bump drafting in the lead. Got to wonder when the move is going to be made. Parker Dime, he's a little bit wide out of Malmedy. He's looked like his armor has been impenetrable all season long, but here at Spa, Austin Dilts is giving him a run for his money. I remember when we were here for the Nifty Lift series, Austin Dilts made a start, and he won by a country mile in the Mustang. So evidently he's taken that form forward to here.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to find some more people for him to play with. Certainly, I think Rob Campbell would give him a run for his money, but let's not tell Rob. He can find, if he watches the broadcast, he can find out I complimented his driving. But other than that, I'm not going to tell him, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, yeah, maybe have to see if we can borrow a few of the BIS guys as well, have them come over. I think Mr. Buchanan could indeed be a potent adversary for him. But right now, battles happening for hours. You see Calvin Gorey definitely a little bit of a wheel in the grass right there, sorry, in the sand right there, and understandably so. I definitely struggle with that corner myself. I always find it's one of the hardest ones to judge. You see Jacob Quayle there taking a little bit more of the extra curve, but still currently 0.6 of a second ahead, but Gorey is indeed catching up.
Yeah, looks like it. We're still waiting on actual lap times to come in, because Jacob Quayle's time is still being affected by the pit stop that he took. So we'll wait and see what the pace really is between those two. Between Kyle Shelton and Fozzie Fazillo, though, it looks like Shelton is starting to make tracks. And it's definitely a difference in terms of best laps here. The PB for Fozzie Fazillo was a 2:19.3. Personal best for Kyle Shelton, a 2:18.5. So that number 21 Mustang looks like it has the edge over this McLaren here. Kalman Giori and Jacob Quayle have traded spots just now. Giori up into 8th, but then Quayle coming back at him. We're going to get it here on the replay. That's a big dive by Calvin Giori into the chicane, and he's gone wide, gone deep, and back onto the track at the apex. Oh, that's a scary moment there for Jacob Quayle, almost getting turned around.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a little bit intimidating, but this is a battle I think that's going to see some spice. It's certainly, we saw them going at it earlier, and once Luis Rios was able to get ahead, he did manage to pull away a little bit, but Ken Fazillo, he's proved to be a defensive weapon. There goes a little bit of a move there on the inside, and the opportunity just isn't there. More of a showing your nose. It's kind of like, you know, if you play soccer recently, it's like where you put the right foot up over the ball, and you give the impression and kick it away with your left. I felt that's exactly what's happening there in turn 1.
Yeah, looks like it. Great exit up the top of the hill for Fozzie Fazillo. And that should break the slipstream just ever so slightly. But that Mustang is looking good in a straight line. Seems like the gap was decreasing just a little. Looks like Giori and Quayle have traded spots again. I think there's been an issue that's just happened there for Jacob Quayle. He's under pressure from Luis Rios now. And that has obviously happened in the sort of Malmedy, Lacombe area of the racetrack. Actually down at Bruxelles. Looks like jumping on the brakes here. And, he tries turning in, but the rear end snapped free.
Well, it certainly seems to be a table of turning, I guess, or the tables have turned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get some words right eventually. As you see there, that's exactly what Calvin Giori needed to get away from Jacob Quayle. But now we have both of these drivers, these two teammates in the Mustangs. Certainly we see it with WBM, where we see it with Luis Rios and indeed Carl Shelton as well. He's now getting into a battle. Speaking of which, Shelton's dropped back very heavily there.
Yeah, what's happened to Shelton? He was right on the back there of Fozzie Fazillo just a few moments ago. Evidently, there's been some drama for him in the middle sector. This is down at Fanye, this beautiful sweeping S-bend, which is one of my favorite parts of the circuit. But no, it actually happened at Lacombe and Malmedy. So he turns in, and no drama there. Has he done the same thing that Quayle did? Is the rear end broken free here? No, it hasn't. So evidently it happened at the corner later. Staring at the back of the McLaren, almost misses the apex. And then coming into Pouon, does anything happen?
I'm trying to find the clip going off over inside. Oh, there it is.
Big snap on entry. Well, fortunately, there's lots of runoff area there, and most of it is tarmacked as well. So Shelton was able to get going again very quickly, but it's obviously hurt the gap. Meanwhile, the lead changed just a few moments ago. Austin Diltz getting back ahead of Parker Dime. And the WBM Mustangs up the front run in that order once again, still occupying their starting positions. The same is true for Dylan Newhard, Dustin Neerhoof, and Jacob Quayle. 3rd, 4th, and 9th, with no position change thus far. Cayman Lackney up 1 position, same for Morgan Smith and Ryan Gleason. The hard charger in the field is Luis Rios, up 4 places. And we've had Drew Trader and Scott Harrer lose out over the course of this race as well. 8 minutes to go, though. There's still plenty that can change.
Yeah, certainly noticing as well, Adam Capps hasn't been here all night as well. Certainly, I think he's had his hands full a little bit on the real life side, so hopefully he's doing all right and he's feeling better, and he can hopefully find his way back soon.
Yes, indeed. We wouldn't have this series in the first place without Adam Capps and Drew Trader as well. Excellent job from those guys to set up the league initially, which we broadcast the second half of, and then the WBM guys came in and sort of united the leagues, as it were, to create this series. Hope to see him back out on track soon. Well, Morgan Smith now looking at a top 5 and flashing the lights there at his teammate Cayman Lackney. Looks like it's going to be a battle of the WBMs here.
Oh, more passing up front as well.
Parker Dime jetting up to the back of Austin Diltz, but the number 14 still stays in the lead here. Dilts, meanwhile, just holding it flat through Arouge and Radion. GT3 cars can take that complex flat out, but you've got to be very precise on your turn-in points. Look who's lurking in the background as well, Ryan Gleason. He's running times pretty similar to those of Cayman Lackney, so you never know. If Lackney and Smith start to battle, Gleason could get a free kick here.
Yeah, if you take a quick look here between Lackney and Smith, though, it looks like Morgan has been absolutely reeling in the back of that McLaren. Certainly, he's applied a bit of pressure. He's got it down to 0.5 of a second. And despite the fact both of these two drivers we're watching now, they are both up one position from where they started, I do believe that Morgan's maybe got a little bit more in that BMW. And I think Carmen Lackney is soon going to be very much under attack.
That's a very wide through Pouon there. That would have been an off track, and Morgan Smith gets a great run through the second half of that diving double left-hander. A bit wider into Fanier, but you can certainly line up the exit nicely from there. Just touch the curbs and back over to the other side of the track for Stavolo. And then keep it flat through Paul Frere Curve as you rejoin the original public roads that made up Spa-Francorchamps. It's funny, Zippy. I just out of curiosity, I was looking at the geo portal of from the Belgian government, and I was looking at hand-drawn maps from the 1700s and 1800s. Seeing how the roads that made up Spa evolved over time. Really interesting to see. You know, this section here, it is permanent racetrack now, but originally existed as public roads about 200 something years ago.
Yeah, that's definitely some wicked history there. Actually, didn't you do some history of tracks on your channel, on your YouTube channel?
I do, yes. I've done it thus far for Zandvoort. I'm working on one for Silverstone. I'm definitely going to be doing Spa.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch that, check out Southport Race On. I believe it's YouTube for that stuff there. By all means,
yes.
We'll plug our commentator. He's been around Pit Road Productions since the start, so I feel good that we can promote him there, and certainly it's a pleasure having the one and only Reese Gardner in the booth. But right now, I believe that Cayman Lackney, I can't decide at this point. I've been able to do it all season, and now at this point I've decided I can't pronounce his name, but he's currently under pressure from Morgan Smith. Certainly the BMW is looking potent. The McLaren generally been a very, very good all-rounder, but that old title used to belong to the BMW. The BMW used to be the most approachable car, but now you got to wonder, old versus new. The McLaren definitely one of the newer cars to join the iRacing service. What can the BMW do to fight back?
Well, there's a difference in drivetrain to start with. The McLaren running a turbocharged V8. It is a turbocharged four-cylinder actually six-cylinder, I believe, in the BMW here. And Morgan Smith is using that to great effect there on the exit of Pouon. Front engine rear wheel drive. BMW's always famous for their handling prowess, and around the outside of Fanier, he's going to try and take the position, but could there be a cutback from the mid-engined McLaren of Cayman Lackney? Slightly better exit out of Stavolo, but he's going to have to try and carry that momentum through Blanchimont if he wants to get the position back.
Yeah, certainly while Morgan may have that position for now, he's very much going to be under attack. Cayman Lackney's going to have the draft the whole way around, all the way through Blanchimont. Is it going to be a fight in the chicane? That's exactly what I'm going to predict here. What are we going to see happen? Is Morgan Smith going to close off that inside line? Is Lackney going to send it up the inside as well? We're going to have to find out as they're making their way down towards that chicane. Keeping it single file for the moment. Maybe Cayman Lackney's decided, you know what? I'm going to keep going behind him. I'm going to get through turn one, get through Rouge, get through Regina, and then go for it on that straightaway.
Yep, absolutely. That's the only chance that he's going to have. Don't forget, though, Cayman Lackney running a couple of tenths slower a lap in general than Ryan Gleason, who's still lurking in the background in that Ferrari. The time that Gleason took out that lap, 0.4 of a second. But Morgan Smith still quicker than the both of them. So I'm expecting that BMW to start jetting away now.
Yeah, certainly the hardest part for Morgan is going to be breaking that draft. If the number set for number 13 can stay up behind that rear wing, it's going to protect him from Gleason right behind him. You can see there, though, Gleason has been taking chunks out of it. You can see a smidge, like not even a tenth on lap 15, not even a tenth on lap 16, but 17. He took a nice chunky half a second and another 3 or 4 tenths on lap 18 as well.
Right then, still got a lap to go once they cross the line next. Up the front, Cayman Lackney will keep chasing Morgan Smith as Parker Dime keeps chasing Austin Dilts here. Rare this season that we haven't seen Parker Dime way out in front with barely anything to contend with, but this time he is looking at the back of his teammate. If he wants to line up a move, now is the time. He needs to start building that momentum because the white flag is waiting for these two.
Yeah, and it looks like Morgan Smith managed to pull an absolute number there. Cayman Lackney just dropped really heavily off the back of him, almost a second and a half there. I do wonder if he dipped the wheel. I got no warning for it, but now Gleason's going to be very much coming into play there if another mistake like that happens. But we are indeed going to return to the front. We're looking for the white flag. It's there. It's waving. Final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Final lap.
All right. Nail the exit of La Source, and you can carry it all the way up the hill through Eau Rouge, through Radillon to Les Combes and Malmedy. One of the heaviest braking zones on the entire lap. See the cars go flat through the kink at the bottom of the hill. They carry so much speed and they emerge out the top very nicely. The slipstream is on for Parker Dime. He's gaining and gaining fast here. Does Austin Dilts go defensive on the way into Malmedy? He does not. Parker Dime, in fact, lifting off there. So maybe he's thinking it's a better opportunity to try and get by at the chicane.
Yeah, certainly myself, I would be trying to stay behind right now, just try and keep the pressure on to the back of Austin Dilts. Certainly these guys have run within a tenth of each other, within an inch of each other, many seasons so far. And don't get me wrong, they're going to trust each other to keep that car in check. And if not, you know what, they're going to laugh at each other if it does happen to go a little bit sideways. But myself, I would be trying to keep that pass all the way as late as possible. Maybe get it done going out of Blanchimont, try and get the preferred line, heading through the chicane and see if I can basically take the inside and close the door on him.
Yeah, indeed. Well, it's going to be a battle of wits between the teammates here at WBM. Now the only two cars on track within a second of each other. Looks like the other battles have fizzled out here on the final lap. So we'll stay with our leaders. Flying in formation, the WBM Mustangs out of Stavelot, back onto the old public roads they come, and a bit of a weave going on there from Parker Dime. I'm wondering what the deal is there. Evidently scrubbing some speed as well. Well, is there any surprise that we're going to see at the chicane? Is there going to be a dive? He's a little bit... Oh, they're both weaving. What's going on between these two?
Showboating.
It looks like there's going to be no move for the lead there. So Austin Dilts out of the final corner, up through the gears. And oh dear. Okay. So Austin Dilts takes victory, but Parker Dime still the one making headlines. Big old smooch from Dylan Newhard. Thank goodness the start-finish line was right there. Otherwise, that would have been disastrous there for Parker. Dustin Niehoff takes fourth. Oh!
Contact.
Oh, good Lord.
Now, is Mo going to get in on it as well?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah. Look, he's aiming. Oh, but one of them's gone. And he's going to avoid Dustin Niehoff as well.
We got to see if somebody else is going to do it.
Now, it looks like I don't think they would have been. Oh, okay. It looks like Gleason's giving Niehoff a bit of a push, and looks like Jacob Quayle's going to join the party. They'll sandwich their way into the wall.
Doggy fire!
Nice. Oh, I want to wait and see if Drew Trader's going to come in at a very high rate of speed. He is.
That was positive, I think. Yeah.
Wait for Kyle Shelton. No, Shelton decided not to join the party.
Oh, my camera just broke. Okay, Scott, this is your moment to shine.
Yep, final finisher on the lead lap there is Scott Harrer down in 14th place. Everyone else has escaped off the road. And Harrer is going to do the usual pullover right after the finish line and take his escape from there. But Justin Nierhoff will celebrate a well-earned 4th place. Cayman Lackney and Morgan Smith. Good battle between them for that 5th spot.
Oh, what a fantastic race, Reese. Let's go over the unofficial results we have so far.
Yes, so Austin Diltz and Parker Dime, 1 and 2, up the front of the field. Dylan Newhart and Dustin Nierhoff, 3rd and 4th, with Smith rounding out your top 5. Lackney, 6th place in the end where he started. Ryan Gleason up 1 position to 7th. Kalman Giori, he started in the top 5, but unfortunately a spin at the chicane arrested his chances of staying there. Jacob Quayle finishes where he started in 9th. Luis Rios gaining 4 spots to round out your top 10. Then Fazillo, Shelton, Trader, and Harrer were your last finishers on the lead lap. Anthony Roses stuck with it all the way through in the number 12 BMW to be the final finisher of the race, with Birkin and Holloway not taking to the start. And with that, it is time for interviews. First driver going to be joining us is Dylan Newhart. Well, Dylan, you managed to stick with Parker and Austin pretty early on, but looked like they just started driving away from you a few laps in. Still, another well-earned podium, and you're backing up that 2nd place in the championship very nicely.
Yeah, well, Porsche's a little bit down on power, so as soon as Parker got around me, they just kind of drafted away from me. Nothing I can really do there. So pretty satisfied with the 3rd place here, to be honest. I was still waiting on Austin's inevitable 1-lap mess up, but it didn't come this week.
Yeah, evidently not. Did Brad Pitt end up giving you any time? How many tenths was he worth?
I mean, I still had the LeBron livery on from last week, and then switched it last night and dropped like 2/10. So I'd say right about 2/10 there, Reese.
Yeah, righto. Very, very nice. Well, 2/10 is sometimes all that you need. It was a bit of a lonely race in the end for you, but still 3rd place. We go to another track where power is probably going to be needed. Silverstone is up next Monday night. What do you think about that place? Still plenty of long corners where the Porsche should be strong.
Yeah, well, it's only going to be another $15 out the wallet for that one. But then, yeah, I mean, long straight. I mean, I relatively know it, but long straight's not going to be ideal here. But some mid-speed corners might be helpful. High rotation with the Porsche might help there, but who knows? We're not really going to know until next Monday, I guess.
Got a few solid hairpins and chicanes as well, where the rear engine layout of the Porsche should help you under acceleration, Dylan. But we'll see how you go next week. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for the broadcast, everyone that helps run this, and I guess Austin for taking down Parker. You know, it's a big deal.
Absolutely. Very big deal indeed. Dylan Newhart there, finishing in 3rd today. Next up, Zippy, I'll leave it up to you, but I think Parker Dime might be the next one we talk to.
Absolutely, Parker, WBM's very own baby daddy, ladies and gentlemen, certainly, and a little bit of showboat in there in that Mustang. Fun stuff there, Parker. Looked like you had a little bit of a handful in the early laps. Tell us about that from your point of view.
Well, Dylan took off a little bit, and then when him and Austin, you know, he kind of followed Austin off, and I was able to capitalize on that, and away we went. Yeah, the end trick wasn't necessarily 100% on purpose, but so it happens when you're drinking and simming. So, and I don't condone drinking and driving.
Well, it's kind of funny actually. We had our very own Richard Swindells in the chat saying WBM drunk, and we were starting to wonder. But certainly, you guys, obviously, even with a little bit of liquid courage or indeed a little bit of gasoline in your veins, you're still a lot quicker than I am. Fair play to you, Parker. A well-deserved 2nd place there. But we're going to Silverstone next, as Reese was just mentioning a moment ago. Now, obviously, we just had the British Grand Prix there. Hulkenberg actually managed to get on the podium. I never thought history would see that being written. Certainly shut a few people up, including me, I guess, on that one. But Definitely a challenging track indeed, quite wide as well, kind of hard to get a true perspective of where you are in like the mid corner per se. How do you feel about that track?
Raced it once in the Mustang and it felt good. So hopefully with the tire model, it's about the same. It's a fun track. Hopefully we're able to capitalize it again.
Well, definitely a very solid result, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed it is Mr. Parker Dime, the number 57, taking home second place today here at Spa.
Lovely stuff from Parker Dime, who will likely retain that championship lead. Finally, Austin Diltz is going to join us here. Well, you won at Spa in the Nifty Lift Series, and now you win here in the Elite Entertainment Series, Austin Diltz. Huge victory for you. It wasn't entirely clear on if you would hold on to it through that pit cycle, though.
Yeah, Parker's a beast in the pits. It's always kind of a toss-up if you're going to get out ahead of him. But he was nice enough to not battle me too hard for the win, because I was ready to kill us both. I was.
Well, fortunately, you didn't. Was the weaving on the final lap part of that?
That was just a little bit of tomfoolery at the end there. Parker took it a little bit too much at the end and decided to flip off Dylan, which might get him in trouble with the stewards after, but it was funny to watch from the rear view for sure. I didn't think he passed the line, so I thought he was sitting at the line with a wrecked car.
Oh, well, regardless, it's a fantastic points haul here at Silverstone. The Mustang looked very strong here. I suppose it'll be strong at Silverstone too, judging by that.
Yeah, Parker and I have actually done a league race at Silverstone before and 1-2'd that one, and it feels great at Silverstone. I love Silverstone. It's a great track.
And we look forward to you being up the front there once again, Austin. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, big shout out to my beautiful wife who's sitting here with my baby. Big shout out to Parker for being a teammate, WBM for ripping. You guys for putting on a great broadcast.
Awesome stuff, Austin, and all the best to wife and baby as well. We'll see you at Silverstone.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I probably should have given Parker the chance to shout out as well. I can never remember which one of the two's got the baby. I know they've told me, but they've been pranking me with that for some weeks now, and it's fair to say they've won.
Who is the father?
Stop me.
Oh, well, it looks like that's going to round things off, Zippy. Silverstone next week, of course, going to the UK for the next round of the Elite Entertainment Sportscar Series. I'm obviously looking forward to it. I hope you are too, because, man, I love GT3 racing at Silverstone.
Yeah, definitely. I love the fact it's a British track, albeit not one on the Princess approved list, but these guys, I'm sure, will do it justice. I do hope we can see some more break battles like we did see here today at Spa. But Reese, I gotta say, it's been a belter. Let's get the show closed and on the road.
Thanks, everybody, for watching on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel. A huge thanks, of course, to Elite Entertainment and WBM Racing for sponsorship and support of this series. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring you this fantastic action. I'm Reese Gardner with Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me and also producing behind the scenes here on Pit Road Productions. We'll see you next time.